Let's all be nice. Pardon me?
Why Indiana for this latest detention center?
Why not? I mean, bottom line is the state should playing a role in this administration's efforts to remove public safety threats from this nation as quick as possible, illegal alien public safety threats and national security threats. States are playing a role. I'm happy for their participation and coordination and efforts.
How quickly can you see it up and running?
I don't have an exact deadline on it. I know it's we're looking at about 1,000-bed facility, and I just, like I just said in another interview, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see bigger facilities that hold 4,000 or 5,000 people. Just creates more efficiencies. Near an airstrip, move people in and out quicker, bigger population, but 1,000 beds help. I've said from day one, we need 100,000 beds. That's what we asked for in the big, beautiful bill, and we got it. 100,000 beds would create more efficiencies and allow ICE agents to arrest more bad people on the street. And with us hiring at a massive rate, more boots on the ground, meaning we're arresting more criminals, which means we need more beds. Everybody arrests needs a bed, because they're going to be in custody for several days, several weeks, or several months, depending on the specific case. But the more beds we have, the more success we're going to see.
Mr. Holman, is the administration considering any federal action in Portland, where we see Antifa besieged one of the buildings there for over a month now and assaulting and attacking journalists on the ground?
We'll see about that. I'm going to Portland.
Mr. Holman, Scripps News has learned that there was a major medical incident at Alligator Alcatraz.
Major what?
Major medical incident at Alligator Alcatraz.
What was it?
What could you tell us about that?
I can tell you I went to Alligator Alcatraz 2 days ago, and I'm sick and tired of false stories about Alligator Alcatraz. Someone asked me the other day that the priest wasn't allowed in to give mass. Wrong. They got the records there. They showed me the records. Clergy have been allowed on there. And I walked through the medical facility there. Not one person was in the trauma unit at all. I talked to the head medical person, shared with me, what they're getting is some people don't, a stomach ache or nothing serious has happened there. And if something serious is happening, they got a helicopter right there, take people to the nearest trauma center. So what I saw was a well-run facility. And the reason I went down there is because I get asked these questions all the time about the terrible, terrible Alligator Alcatraz. I went down there, and what I found out is there's a lot of fake stories out there about medical attention, about religious freedom and having clergy there. I went down there. I looked at it. I looked at the books. So it's simply a false story.
Will you stop using the name Speedway Slammer after the IndyCar rejected it?
Can you say a word about reassigning?
Look, I don't name the facilities, but I'll say this: the work of ICE, the men and women of ICE are trying to do their job with integrity and honor. I don't want these names to detract from that. So not naming the facilities, but I wasn't involved in that, but I want people to focus on the hard work and the dangerous work the men and women of ICE are doing. And they're doing it with integrity of honor, and I want us to stick to that. And so I don't want the names taking over the great work we're doing. This is serious work and it's dangerous work, so I want to stick with that.
Can you give a reaction to the judge considering halting operations at Alligator Alcatraz over environmental concerns?
I don't understand the environmental concerns are, because I was down there. So they take waste out of there every day. They're not having any impact. They haven't put 1 foot of concrete down that wasn't already there. I mean, the airport was already there, runway was already there. They're moving waste in and out every day. They're moving, sewage water in and out every day. So I don't see any environmental impact. Again, if the judge is going to make that ruling, go down there and look at it yourself. I'm sick and tired of the radical judges trying to shut down everything we're doing. It's ridiculous. I thought the Supreme Court was pretty clear last month about these radical judges trying to, stop the Trump administration from implementing our agenda that American people voted for.
Immigration
When
advocates
can we
though
expect
say
the
that
first deportees to be sent to Rwanda?
So I missed the question.
When can we expect the first deportees to be sent to Rwanda?
Working on it.
Well, immigration advocates argue this, that detainees at Alligator Alcatraz are in inhumane conditions, including flooded facilities, spoiled food, sweltering heat, and they have limited access to
Bunch of crap. I was there. I walked through the detainee facilities. I walked through the medical facilities. I walked through the cafeteria. I had them show me, what did you feed these people today? I saw the lunch what they fed them. They ate better yesterday than I am eating today. Bottom line, that's God's. And I looked at what they're giving them for dinner. I did it just because so I can push back on the fake media stories here. I went down there, I saw the meals. I'd sit down and have one of those meals. And I went through I didn't see any flooding. I went through the facilities where they're being detained, the air conditioning, the level of comfort. I was wearing a suit and I wasn't sweating. So again, fake stories.
TPS for Ukrainian people, TPS for Ukrainian people. President Trump told that he gonna extend TPS status and you for Ukrainian people. Are you going to
That's the Secretary of Homeland Security, Christy Noem's call, not mine.
Two questions for you. Sir, can I just ask
Yeah.
about FEMA? So there's reports that you're going to be reassigning FEMA agents to work on ICE. Is that would that be a temporary thing, or are you talking about?
I have not heard that. You're the first one to say that to me, so I'm not aware of that.
And are you still, Mr. Holman, are you still targeting this 3,000 arrests a day a target, or how should we think about your capacity to arrest with these?
Look, I think the Department of it's 3,000 arrests. People say, what a ridiculous number. Do the math. We'd have to arrest 7,000 people every day for the remainder of this administration just to remove the people Joe Biden released in the country. 3,000, in my opinion, is not a target. It's not my target. But, everybody says 3,000 is a ridiculous, goal. I will say, look at the numbers. We'd have to arrest more than twice many of that just to remove the people that Biden let in. That's not counting the 12, 15 million already here. So I don't think anybody's working on a goal of 3,000. I think I look at the numbers every day, and I think the men and women are doing a great job. I hope we get over 3,000 a day when we bring these additional resources on, additional beds, additional transportation contracts. Because again, and despite what some of you are all saying, most of the people arrested aren't criminals. Again, crap, wrong. I look at the numbers every morning. The first thing I do is look at the numbers. The numbers I looked at this morning, 70% of everybody ICE arrested is a criminal. But some of y'all say, well, they're not criminal enough. Just a DUI. 10,000 people a year die from DUI. Bottom line is 70% of everybody ICE arrested is a criminal. Who's the other 30% they're arresting? So when you write the stories, why don't we just be honest and tell the whole story? Many of them are national security threats that don't have criminal histories, because most national security threats lay low. They don't want to encounter law enforcement while they're here. For instance, over 300 Iranian nationals. Probably not criminals, don't have a criminal history, but they're national security, and they need to be arrested and taken off the streets. Who are the other ones? Many of them are final orders. These are people who had due process at great taxpayer expense, and a federal judge ordered them removed. And our job, under statute, is to remove them. So we find them, we remove them. May not be criminals, but they have the due process. And the reason we're doing that, because if we don't, we send a message to the whole world. It's okay to cross the border illegally. It's a crime, but don't worry about it. Show up in court or not show up in court and get a final order removal from a federal judge, but don't worry about it. As long as you don't commit another crime, no one looking for you. If that's the message we send to the whole world, you're never going to fix this issue. There are millions of people standing in line doing things the right way, taking their tests, doing their background investigation, paying their fees. They're sitting in the back seat. Well, we had 10.5 million illegal aliens come to the border, who a vast majority of them were asylum cheaters. You can call them asylum seekers all you want. I guess that's an accurate term. But look at the immigration court data. 9 out of 10 people claim asylum at our border end up with an order removal. They cheated the system ahead of thousands of people in the world who really do need our protection. They really do need asylum, protect them from the home government. They're sitting in the back seat. What the Trump administration is doing, we're enforcing laws enacted by Congress. President Trump's keeping his promise. And look at the crime rates already. Every public safety threat ICE takes off the street makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street makes this country safer. Every illegal alien with a final deportation order that we remove sends a strong message to the whole world. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It is a crime. It is not okay to be here illegally. And if you're here illegally, you got a problem. You should be looking over your shoulder. It's not okay to be here illegally, like it wouldn't be okay for me to be in any other country illegally. We're enforcing the immigration law. That's what the American people put President Trump in the Oval Office for. President Trump's success on the border is unprecedented. We've got the most secure border in history of the nation today. I've worked with 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. No one has come close to the success of the Trump administration on border security. And I looked at the numbers this morning, again, over 300,000 repatriations since January when President Trump came in office. Do the math. That's historic, especially when 70% of those are public safety threats and national security threats. No one does it better than the man sitting in the White House here, Donald Trump. And I'm proud every day when I wake up. I'm proud to work for this president because he's making this country safe again every day, and you all see the numbers.
UK government was not successful in UK government was not successful in taking migrants to Rwanda. What gives you confidence that you will be successful, and how do you see this process?
What gives us confidence we're going to be successful? Look at the numbers. You've never seen numbers this good.
I'm saying UK government was not successful in sending migrants to Rwanda. UK government.
They're not the United States of America. They don't have President Trump running the show.
Mr. Holman, a question on farm workers. The president said in his interview with CNBC that he wants to work with farmers to help them with their labor needs. So we're sending back migrant farm workers back to their countries and then with a pass back in legally. What does that mean? Because the administration has been a little inconsistent in describing the case for migrant farm workers. So is that a system in place right now? Because the president said that's what was happening, that migrants are being sent back to their home countries and then being given a pass to come back here to work on the farms.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get ahead of the president. I don't think there's been any formal policy that's been signed or pushed out to agencies. Until we have a final plan, I'm not going to comment on it because I'm not involved in those discussions right now, so I'm not going to get ahead of the president. We'll see where it goes. I know the president made a statement that farmers may need help, and I know him and others are talking about it, and we'll see what comes out of it. I don't want to get ahead of the president on that.
Are there still operations happening at farms and agriculture facilities?
We'll do operations. The worksite operations are based on, again, a prioritization. We're trying to prioritize worksite enforcement based on criminal activity. Like the warrant we served in Los Angeles that started all the riots. People said, "Oh, ICE do another racial profiling operation," which is total garbage. We were serving criminal warrants at a facility that was involved with money laundering, tax evasion, and trafficking. That's why we were there. So we try to prioritize our worksite enforcement on criminal cases. Those we have information of labor, forced labor trafficking. Those we have information on tax evasion. So that's what we're doing. We prioritize everything we do. So if there's a hotel that we know there's criminal sex trafficking or criminal labor trafficking or someone's being abused, someone's at danger, we'll go and investigate.
How many people have used the CPD home app?
Mr. Holman, what are the cost estimates for this detention center in Indiana? Who came up with the name? And also, how much is this going to look like Alligator Alcatraz?
I don't know who came up with the name, and I don't know the details, but I'll say this. Again, 1,000 beds come in very handy. And I'm glad the states are stepping up to help us do this. Every bed we bring on, we fill pretty quickly. I mean, we don't have less than several hundred beds this morning. We'll fill them by tomorrow morning. So the more beds we bring on, and look, I'll say it again, I am happy that governors are stepping up wanting to help with this because interior enforcement is their responsibility too. They saw what happened to the crime rates. They see what happened to all the U.S. citizens that were attacked by people not supposed to be here. They read all the stories on the young women raped and murdered by members of criminal cartels that were released in this country by administration. They're angry too, and they're happy that President Trump's taking action to not only secure the border at the highest level ever, but to make this country safe again. I'm glad governors are stepping up, but I'll say it again. I would like to see bigger facilities that be more efficient, holding several thousand people. But 1,000-bed facility is a great help because we need those 1,000 beds. We need them today. So the quicker they bring it on, the better.
What will be the administration's next move if the judge does order to halt operations at Alligator Alcatraz?
Well, we'll do what we always do. We'll litigate it, we'll appeal it, and we'll win. I mean, bottom line is, why would you stop operations at a facility that has no issues as far as I'm concerned? Matter of fact, what the facility reminded me yesterday, facilities that I walked through, where our FEMA employees go and set up their base camps, facilities just as good as what we send our FEMA employees to, if not better. There is no issues with Alligator Alcatraz. And I can say that comfortably because I was there. I was just there the day before yesterday. I saw it. I walked through it. I walked through every square foot of that facility. Again, the detention facility, where they prepare the food, the medical facility. I got a briefing on all the SOPs on if a hurricane come, what is the plans for, evacuation? I mean, where do you put the most significant criminals compared to the lesser criminals? They got it covered, and I think it's a good facility. I didn't see a single issue, and I was there all day.
Can you give us an estimate on how many people are using the CPD?
Are you getting a tick?
We have no problem recruiting. We got record numbers. Border Patrol has a record number of people wanting to come part of the Border Patrol, overwhelming number. ICE the same way. I've shared this a couple weeks ago. I actually used to have a LinkedIn account, and I had to shut it down because I had thousands and thousands of people reaching out to me, whether they're just got out of the military or whether they're police officers in counties and cities or retired ICE agents, retired Border Patrol agents, your average Americans. I mean, I love them all for wanting to come part, but it shut me down. So there's no lack of men and women that want to come and join this administration because they've seen the great things this administration is doing.
Is that part of the reason why the age gap was eliminated by ICE? Because you had more of an interest coming from maybe ex-ICE agents?
The what was?
Maybe the age cap limit for officers to join ICE. It's no longer 37. It could be people older than 40 now.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, I'm 63 and I'd love to put a badge and gun on and go out there and do these things. I mean, bottom line is we got a lot of patriots, and I think the age limits are decades old, and we need to look at that. But just because if someone comes in and they're 55, maybe they can't carry a badge and gun, but they can certainly do administrative duties and help ICE. They can do targeting, they can do intelligence. Then don't put them on the street with a badge and gun. So we'll welcome a lot of people to come, not just do law enforcement work, but do the other work that doesn't require a badge and gun. And when they do that work, that means the badge and gun that's doing that work can leave that work and go on the street and let the new guy sit there and do the job that doesn't require a badge and gun.
Can you expand on Rwanda? Can you expand on Rwanda?
Ma'am?
Are there any plans to protect people here under DACA from deportation?
President Trump, he's been clear on that, and you don't see, again, the prioritization speaks for itself. Public safety threats and national security threats. So that's what prioritization is. No one's prioritizing DACA. And like under first Trump administration, he came up with a plan to fix DACA, and who shut it down? Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. It wasn't President Trump. One more question.
Okay,
I got to run.
Can you give us an estimate of how many people are using the CPV Home app to self-deport?
I haven't looked at that recently. Last time I looked, it was about 7,000. Last number, and that was weeks ago. It was 7,000. But I think there's been several studies done. Over 1 million illegal aliens have left this country on their own. I think they're seeing a couple things. Number one, they want the ability to come back on our legal program. And then we said it before, if you get formally deported and we have to go find you and go through that whole process, there's a statutory bar on you ever coming back. Anywhere from 5 years to 20 years, depending on a specific case, sometimes never coming back. So I think the message the Secretary's been sending is, if you're in the country legally, go on your own and leave opportunities for the future. And and you can get your affairs in order, contact ICE, they'll get you a plane home. Once you get there, they'll give you $1,000, get you started. But that's the right way to do it, and I hope more people do it.
Hey, Tom, real quick,
Thank you,
Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez this week has said she, born in Chicago to Guatemalan parents, said she's more proud to be a Guatemalan. I'll give you the exact quote. I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. Congressman Andy Ogles has said she should be deported over this. Should she face any consequences as a sitting congressman?
Look, I think what she said was disgusting, right? I mean, she's a sitting U.S. Congresswoman, citizen of this country. She's serving at the privilege of her state. Her voters put her in there. So I think her commitment should be to her state and the people that put her in that position. That should be her constituency. And I think what she said there was, in a veiled way, supporting illegal aliens from Guatemala. They're here. And it's a veiled shot at ICE. Let's be serious what she's doing, right? But what she needs to know is ICE is deporting thousands of nationals of Guatemala every week. And we're going to continue that until every illegal alien from Guatemala is removed from this country. That's what the people voted for, and that's what we're going to do. It's unfortunate she said that. I wish she, it's ridiculous.
Can you expand on Rwanda?
Pardon?
For the Lebanese that they are in the country, that they have temporary protected status in the country, and they are Lebanese and they are in the country. Should the community in the U.S. prepare for stricter ICE enforcement or for possible deportation if they are under temporary protected status?
I'm not going to get ahead of the Secretary on that. TPS is her decision, not mine.
Can
Thanks,
you
folks.
expand on Rwanda?